Now I will tell you that no one knew I was going to do this, except one person in this room, and it's not just me. And I want to start this, you know, it says why now, but I want to say why here, why in Serbia. And I want you to invite you to join me in a story about how what's happening here has happened. In 2010, that's when I was first invited to Scrum Alliance conference. I didn't know what Scrum was. I didn't know what Agile was. All I knew is that there's this very special gentleman who originated open space technology in the world, which is in 145 countries plus. And he was facilitating a full day of open space at this conference that Tobias was overseeing. It was a 3-day conference. So I went there and I was invited to attend the full 3 days. I was told that I would need to meet this one person by the name of Tobias. 350 people, I didn't know anyone. So I got there a little nervous because Harrison for me was what Tobias is for Jazz when he changed her life. So I walk into this room and there's a guy that's sitting there, and I had my lunch. Everybody else is everywhere, and I sit down and I say, "Can I eat here?" Oh, sorry, oh, that's okay. It's gonna. I get excited and I lean against stuff. So just we'll reiterate and adjust. So anyway, I went in there and I said, we talked, and it was Tobias, and I said, "Wow, that's amazing," and that was my first encounter. Then Tobias told me where to go for the next sessions. And this is what I noticed. There were other conferences in this very big hotel. And it was like people would have been sitting like you, "I'm sorry, but I love you all, but we're still not moving in action." But at this conference, this is what I saw. And you can read the list. But people were so engaged. The topics were so amazing. And they were racing around everywhere. And I couldn't tell if someone's a boss, someone's this, someone's that. And they were super, super friendly. And wow, there's something happening in technology that I hadn't noticed. But I sure was noticing it there. And then we had the open space, and it was wonderful. And I got up at 5 in the morning after our open space. And I wrote a letter to Tobias. And I said, the personal and collective leadership I saw here goes so far beyond the scope of systems application, system implementation, and project management work typical of many who work in your field. People here are modeling the new leadership with passion in their gut. They understand in a very holistic way that human dynamics are an integral part of what creates success. These were my exact words at 5 in the morning to Tobias. And this presentation is a love note to Serbia. It's a love note to the technology people that had been doing some pretty good stuff. Now, what Tobias did with my little personal note is it got published in the InfoQ Technology magazine to my big surprise. And we called it, the 2010 US Scrum Gathering, the Aftershocks. Then he hired me to go facilitate the first in the world Scrum Beyond Software conference with 50 trailblazing, pioneering people. And it was the first time that had been done. I was kind of nervous again because I was kind of new in this stuff, but I really passionately believed we needed to take our technology, and we had all these people. So you might recognize some faces there. Jasmina was doing the big banner that we had, Scrum Beyond Software, and when I walked in the room, I didn't know anyone, only knew Tobias again. She's sitting there, Jasmina? I thought she's one of the organizers. No, she became one of my best friends in life. And then you can see Tobias in the middle. So that's where Scrum Beyond Software, and I will contend, it's where Agile Humans, this seed that this lady is pursuing, started, and we're all connected. Yes, we've all heard about VUCA today. VUCA world, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, it's not going away. And there's this gentleman, if you've never heard of him, he has written The Age of Agile, has about 700 articles in Forbes magazine that has been writing over time, that he makes the case for the great possibilities of technology, Scrum, Agile, beyond software. And he emphasizes that it requires new Agile mindsets. We're hearing about principles, but I'm going to be talking a bit about practices here. So, when I heard Doug, I heard Tobias talk about principles. Well, we've heard about the Agile Manifesto, and Tobias is right. There's a lot of work happening before 2001 when 17 very trailblazing people in the technology community got together. However, something that they did there, and I think it's at the origin of Agile Humans, this manifesto represents very deep-seated principles. They met to talk about, to ski and do all that, and then they came out with this, the spirit, and I call it and the practice of Agile, because it is two things. But there's important messages here that say it's individuals and interactions. That's us. That's our conversations. That's how we interact with each other over process and tools. Working product, the result that we give to our clients, to whoever we're serving, over the documentation and all the busyness that we do. Customer collaboration, responding to change. This document is still as vibrantly alive as it ever was. It is the principles that we're talking about. And I think it's at the essence of human agiles too. Because I come from manufacturing, where we did Lean Six Sigma, we did re-engineering, we did, ISO, we did downsizing, we did right-sizing, we had better efficiency, we got better cost, we, got really smart. But you know what? I look at this and I think we forgot the humans in that. We were really quick to downsize and outsource. And where were the humans? And now in a VUCA world, where we're looking at artificial intelligence, robotics, cobotics, machine learning, a whole bunch of stuff. We are going to be automating all the mechanical tasks that people are doing, and we're going to need new ways of approaching work that tap into the true potential, the creativity of all of us. So we kind of have to relearn how to work. I mean, we only have one life. Are we going to go home because our mechanical tasks aren't there? No. And I mean, we need to partner with these technologies, use them with us. So, I think this Agile Manifesto is really important. And Tobias talked about values, courage, focus, commitment, respect, openness. Those are the Scrum values. But what are our values when we're going to work? And let's get clear about those values before we start. And this year, when I say this is a testament to the technology people. Well, what I forgot to mention with those 17 people that got together, you probably remember large system changes in the 90s. I remember. Here's how it worked. We are going to bring finance, operations, engineering, all this together, all the data. They get all the information. It takes, they say it's going to take 2 or 3 years. Sometimes it takes 4. It's always past deadline. It's always over budget. Typically, the person that was hired to run this got fired, and they brought in a SWAT team to fix it. And at the end, 80% of what got installed isn't getting used. And sometimes even, you get the latest version in your company, but you discover that it's 2 versions late. That's why 17 people got together, and they decided we need to do work differently. And that was in 2001, but they had done the work before. So, we have a lot to learn from technology. They have been experimenting. They have been working very hard on this and iterating, and I'll get into a few things that they've been doing. And we're not starting at ground zero. And this is an invitation to partner with the people that are in our own companies that we may not know. They may be introverts and outliers, like I described them, but they have some really cool stuff to share. So Agile is a vibrantly active worldwide community. There's hundreds of thousands of them out there. And I have talked to CEOs and others when I'm talking to them, and I say, hey, go check in your company. And they have. And you're right, they're doing Scrum and Agile, and they had no clue. So, and here are some. These were my buddies. It's called Buddy Up, so you might recognize the lady in the middle. These other people come from different parts of the world. They are amazing. They're my friends. They're my colleagues. When I started talking about this stuff, I said, oh, I don't know enough to have the right because I'm not a technology person. They said, go. But now I have new buddies. I met them yesterday and the day before. If they're in the room, would they please raise their hand? Yeah. So these are our new certified Scrum Masters. Let's give them a little clap. As we do this, and this is my biggest buddy of all, because that's why we're all here, but you know, he's written this book called People Scrum, and he says it works best if embraced by those doing the work and is adapted in the context of that work, but if we push it, if we impose it, there's no way it's going to go anywhere. So it's invitation, folks. Like what I fear is that leaders are going to say, because those are the statistics, 90% of business leaders now in companies want to be agile. Only less than 10% are doing it, and half the people don't even know what it's about. So you know how it is from the mountain, we want me to do this, so go do that? No, we need to do this together. And what does that look like? And I've just put some things there that I want to say to you. This is an invitation to invite everyone to the grown-up table of strategy. Let's not leave us at the kiddie table. And we all deserve to be part of the grown-up table. And we're going to talk about important things like eliminating waste and productivity. We're in business. We want to succeed, not just a few of us, all of us. And it's a matter of head and heart. It's a matter of spirit and practice. Now, this, I'll just go through this very quickly, but it's one of the most important slides, I think, in the whole deck, that this waterfall method is how we operate our traditional companies. We want to know where we're going to get to before we even start, when we have the least amount of information. We hand off, as Tobias has described, we hand off from one person to the next, and we wait. And this whole model, which used to be the model of most companies in technology, is not working. And I don't want to get into the big detail of this because this is the whole wonderful world of Scrum. But I can tell you what it invites. It invites those closest to the work to have the opportunity to choose and see how the work gets done. It invites people to review, to adjust, to deliver the products that the customer wants. It's self-organized. There's many, many, many times where customers and stakeholders are talking with each other. It doesn't only happen at the beginning. And we bring the different functions together. Life becomes more vibrant and alive. And you can see that we are delivering in 1 to 3 weeks. Now they're doing that in technology. So we're shortening. But, you know, Tobias showed, we can put, you know, those little red blocks and deliver something. So this is about delivering business value fast, making mistakes fast, fixing it fast, and getting better at it, and delivering more and more, and having that great drive of having delivered good products. I also hear from everyone, oh, Scrum, that is so prescriptive. And they've got all these words that we don't understand. And really, you know, that's not how work should be. Well, I'm going to summarize this to just say, I think we need a new language on how we talk about teams, how we talk about results, how we talk about a whole ton of things. Because the words we have them, but they're not working. And the technology crew have been doing some awfully good work. And yes, it maybe involves a new language for us to learn together, but it's going to take us back to our roots. Because behind each of these words are tons of conversation, tons of transparency, tons of results. And I want to honor them for that. Really, it's a Scrum framework that we can say, hey, here's what we're doing that's working, and then you tell us from the business side what we don't know. So that's my point about this new toolbox. And I'll tell you something, and I've done this with executives, and I say to them, because they're a little nervous. Executives are supposed to know it all, so they're more nervous than you guys, I'm telling you. They're really nervous. And they don't like to not know. And at the end of the day, I say, not only will you know these words, you will have experienced a lot of them and you'll get it. And you should see them, they're like little kids, they're so proud of what they learn. So it's not a big deal. Okay, a lot of people say, and I'm almost done, I've used this with clients. So the top story is a hotel that was losing cash. So we invited everyone to the strategy of the company, including the head of housekeeping and the head of maintenance. So the head of housekeeping was the biggest, best leader I ever saw. So that company that was losing cash within a year was making $1 million. Within 2 years, they were making $2 million. Why? Because we used a combination of open space technology, some simple things, and some Scrum adaptation to get them started, because this is a journey. The next one is created a national organization in the packaging industry, 7 people that believe that people need to be better equipped on training, on AI, robotics, all this. So they said our companies aren't paying us to get trained enough and we're going to be just messed up. So let's do it ourselves. And in less than a year we created a national, visible website, meetings, everything. 7 people can do a lot. Ordinary people, round up. Motivation. Danielle Pink is really well known for talking about motivation. It needs 3 things: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Well, Agile and Scrum, and combining us all together gives us autonomy. It gives us the chance to perfect our jobs and get better and be proud. And it certainly has purpose attached to it. So my invitation is, it's time for a bigger sandbox. Time to invite, time to involve, time to include, time to engage, and time to experiment, to fail, and to succeed. And we need to leverage self-management, leverage the technology community, like all get together in this and play and have fun. And I say let's grow the spirit of Agile. Jasmina, and that's where I met Kim. So you know, if you let go of control, you discover friends appear in your midst, and here we are on the stage, and it all happened like that. So this is where I met Kim, at an open space of Agile. And my last slide is happiness at work and in life. Why am I in this? These are my 2 grandkids. And I do not want them to have a miserable life. And the 2 pictures beside are the pictures of the students in Belgrade that I took when I came here 5 years ago. They're all over your city. The campuses are all over the city. They're blended everywhere. And all of them that I've met, they're hungry for a much better world than the one we're offering. So, party's on. Will you join us? That's it. I hope I didn't go over my minutes, but I love you guys.